What if the man you called dad your whole life, the one who taught you to ride a bike, who stood in the rain at your graduation, was never your father at all?
My name is Jake Thompson. I'm 29, and 6 months ago, my world cracked wide open.
Backyard. Frank Thompson was my dad in every way that mattered. He owned the auto shop downtown, smelled of grease and coffee, and always saved the last slice of pizza for me. Mom, Linda, kept the house warm with fresh bread and quiet smiles. We were that family everyone envied, the one that actually liked each other. I worked side by side with Dad every summer, learning to rebuild engines. He always said, "One day the shop is yours, son. You and me carrying it forward." Those words were my future, my identity. Then Sarah came into my life. 3 years together, laughing in the passenger seat. I had the ring picked out. I could already picture Dad tearing up at the wedding, telling everyone how proud he was. But something shifted. Dad started disappearing into the garage after dinner. No more fishing trips. No more "let's grab wings" texts. I asked Mom. She looked away and said, "He's just tired, Jake. Men get quiet when they're tired." I didn't buy it. One Saturday, I was hauling boxes to the attic for extra storage. A dusty shoebox tumbled out. Inside, photographs I'd never seen. Mom, 22, radiant, wrapped in the arms of a man with my exact jawline, my exact dark eyes. On the back, in faded ink, David and Linda, summer 94. I was born in 95. There were letters too, unsent. Mom's handwriting, shaky. "The baby needs you. I need you. Please come home." My stomach dropped. I hid the box like it was radioactive. Sarah, trying to cheer me up, gifted me a D and a test kit. "Let's see if you're secretly Viking," she teased. I laughed it off and mailed the swab. 3 weeks later, the email hit my inbox at 2 a.m. I opened it alone in the dark. Ancestry results: 48% British Isles, 32% Scandinavian. The rest scattered. Interesting, but not shocking. Then the relatives tab. No close matches. The paternity note. No biological father detected in our database. I read it 5 times. My hands shook so badly I dropped the phone. I called the company at dawn. They confirmed the results were accurate. Translation: the man who raised me shared 0 DNA with me. That afternoon, I walked into the kitchen where Mom was peeling carrots. "Mom, who's David?" The peeler clattered into the sink. She turned, face white. "Where did you hear that name?" I showed her the photos. The letters. She sank into a chair and cried. A dam breaking after 30 years. "David was your father," she whispered. Frank's younger brother. She had been engaged to David. Wild love, plans for a life together. Then he panicked, packed a bag, moved to Chicago chasing some startup dream. 2 weeks later, she found out she was pregnant. Frank had always loved her quietly. When David vanished, Frank showed up at her door with a simple question: "Marry me. I'll raise the child. No one ever has to know it isn't mine." They did exactly that, built the life I grew up in. But why keep lying? I asked, voice cracking. "He wanted you to feel whole. One dad, one story. He said the truth would only hurt you." There was more in her eyes. Something she still wasn't saying. That night I went to the garage. Frank was under the hood of an old Mustang, same as always. "Dad, Frank, am I your son?" He straightened slowly, grease on his cheek. He looked at me for a long time, then just nodded once. "I knew before you were born," he said quietly. "David told me himself, bragged about it. Then ran. I chose you anyway." My chest burned. "You let me live a lie for 29 years. I let you live a family," he answered. I walked out, drove until the highway blurred. Sarah found me parked at the lake, head on the steering wheel. She didn't speak, just climbed in and held me. While I finally cried, David was alive. A quick search showed he ran a logistics company in Chicago, successful, married, 2 kids who had his name legally. Should I meet him? The question kept me awake for weeks. Then the phone rang from an unknown number. Jake, this is David Thompson. Your mother called me. We met at a diner halfway between our cities. Same eyes staring back at me across Formica. He wore an expensive watch. I wore Dad's old flannel. I didn't know about you, he started. Mom had sworn she told him. He shifted. I was young, scared. She said she'd take care of it. I sent money once. Money. That was his apology. He offered more now, college funds, a trust, whatever. Like writing a check could erase 30 years of absence. I left without shaking his hand. Back home, Frank was waiting on the porch swing. Same place he used to sit when I came home late as a teenager. We talked until sunrise. He told me the rest. David had known. Frank drove to Chicago years ago. Begged him to at least meet me once. David refused. Called it a mistake from another life. Frank chose silence, so I would never feel unwanted. He also told me something Mom never had. He was infertile. Had been since a childhood illness. That's why he could love me so completely, because I was the only child he would ever have. I looked at the man who taught me how to be a man and realized I was looking at my real father. The anger didn't vanish, but it changed shape. We called a family meeting. Just the 4 of us. Me, Sarah, Mom, Frank around the kitchen table where we'd eaten 1,000 dinners. Yelling, tears, old wounds ripped open. Then Frank reached across the table, took my hand the way he did when I was 5 and scared of the dark. I would choose you every single time, he said, blood or no blood. You are my son, and I am your dad. Nothing changes that unless you want it to. I broke. Pulled him into a hug so hard his chair scraped the floor. Sarah cried. Mom cried. For the first time in months, the house felt like home again. I never spoke to David again. He stayed a ghost. I kept the man who stayed. 2 months later, I proposed to Sarah in that same garage, surrounded by tools and the smell of oil and love. Frank stood right there, grinning wider than I had ever seen. He gave the speech that made everyone cry. Family isn't the blood that runs through your veins, he told the room. It's the people who choose to bleed for you. I still run the shop now, side by side with my dad. Some customers notice we don't look alike. We just smile and keep working. The lie hurt. The truth healed. Because in the end, the greatest betrayal isn't finding out your blood isn't yours. It's forgetting that real love was never about blood to begin with. And the strongest families aren't born. They're built one honest day at a time. So tell me, if your entire life turned out to be someone else's story, would you chase the stranger who gave you DNA or hold tighter to the man who gave you everything else? Choose carefully. Some truths set you free. Others just remind you what was real all along.